There was this movie called Minority Report. I think it released
Yes,
in the
yes,
year 2002.
yes.
The
Tom Cruise, I
first
remember.
the first 30 minutes or so of what is shown in that movie, and we are still trying to create a lot of those devices. I mean, to think of that and to put it on screen, that to me
Mhm.
just showcases the kind of filmmaker Chris Nolan is. I mean, you have to just give it to him for just putting it on the screen the way he does, and time and again he does that. So it's kind of
Okay.
like I'm creating a backup of my intelligence right now before I do something else. So in case something happens to me and so on, like your family has access to all your intelligence.
Oh,
And that to me as a premise was like, huh, this is very interesting.
Male. Killer's male, white, 40s. Set up a perimeter and tell them we're en route. A whole virtual universe.
Let me take you on a trip around the world.
hey, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CC podcast, where we basically CC the fascinating connections between movies and industries, and uncover how cinema inspires, reflects, and intersects with the professional worlds of our guest. So today I'm there. I'm your host Dipankar. Malika has taken a much-needed break right now, so you will see her after some point of time. Today we have a very nice guest, I would say, a very inspiring guest, right? So we're today joined by Dr. Hemang Shah, right? So he's an innovator on his field who stands at the crossroads of AI, IoT, and cutting-edge technologies, right? So he has done his PhD from Drexel University. Dr. Hemang, thank you for coming in. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Vipankar. Thanks for having me here. I mean, this is a good discussion I've been looking forward to because
Okay, sir.
who doesn't like to watch cinema and how it
Yes,
influences our lives? So it's been a
yes.
good, relaxing weekend. So happy to be here.
Yes, sir. First of all, thanks so much for taking out the time and giving us some time to record this podcast with you, this episode with you. Right. We want to hear from thought leaders, who would have seen movies and how they would have taken some hints from those movies in their personal lives as well and implemented those even in the corporate world as well. So we have some sort of I would say we'll have a discussion kind of thing with you. So, I would want to know on a personal level, right? The movies, often depict breakthrough ideas in futuristic tech, right? So, specifically Marvel, like, you have this Iron Man,
Yeah.
where you have more like a futuristic tech. What all
Yeah.
those things are there? And then there were older movies also, which were there. And I think, like, if I remember correctly, there was one movie, Back to the Future, where all those future thing
Yeah.
was there, right?
Correct.
And in some of the older movies things were there which actually have come to the future as well, I would say. So are there any movies in general whom you think or which you think would have captured innovation or any scientific disruption, in a way how that it actually resonates with you?
Yeah, Deepankar, you're right. You named a few of those, and a number of them are my favorites. I've seen them multiple times over, all of them.
Okay.
But one which came as I think during my formative years from an engineering sense, there was this movie called Minority Report. I think it released
Yes,
in the
yes,
year 2002.
yes.
The
Tom Cruise, I
first
remember.
the first 30 minutes or so of what is shown in that movie, and we are still trying to create a lot of those devices.
Yes,
Number of them
yes,
are kind of working in our face. I mean, if you remember, he walks through some shopping malls, and then
yes,
they throw him ad recommendations, right? You should try these
yes,
jeans and so on.
yes, 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 sir.
That kind of is how ads are being served to us, right? They track your location, they track your behavior. It's just
Okay.
not so much from a visual sense as it's shown in that movie, but
Yes,
slowly we are getting there. Even the
yes,
way the number of devices that he's using, look at all the touchscreen stuff that we are doing.
yes, sir.
And why this movie resonated even strongly was so I used to research in the area of displays. That was
Mm-hmm.
one area of my doctoral studies. And so we
Mm-hmm.
would go to this annual display conference
Okay.
called SID, the Society for Information Display.
Okay.
My first SID, I remember, you are seeing innovations from this world, which generally speaking would be, I would say, anywhere from 3 to 5 years ahead of time
Okay.
when those would be in mainstream products. So in the year 2005-6, which is before touchscreens were a thing, I remember seeing demos of people trying to recreate the Minority Report touchscreens on those large
Okay.
TVs. They're trying to manipulate multiple windows, and multi-touch is a commonplace thing now. Back then,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't. So why I love
Yes.
that movie was it did not just show technology for the sake of it. It showed how it was integrated into the lives of the people at that time.
Yes, sir.
And I think that movies like those have inspired us to actually bring some of these to life. And you're kind of
Okay.
seeing that. You're seeing, you mentioned Marvel, you're seeing how Jarvis is, and we have so many of
Yes.
these AI assistants, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
they're not at the level at which Jarvis is shown, but I mean, I can see ourselves getting there.
Yeah. I think from that movie, Iron Man, I would definitely want to have a tech where he is able to I think develop that element in all together, and he was just doing like this and getting all this together.
Yeah,
So that was really great, and I would definitely want something like that tech in future. I don't know, maybe
and
it's
it
augmented
exists.
reality. Oh, I wasn't
And it
aware of
exists
this.
in
Okay,
some sense.
okay,
It
okay,
exists in bits and pieces format, right?
okay,
Because, I
okay,
mean, that specific use case, you have something which is going through all the data sets today. A lot of
okay.
generative AI that we are seeing, that we are
Uh-huh,
getting access to,
uh-huh.
has similarly access to all these scientific literature, all these database, right? So it can comb through number of these references for you to run experiments in the background. It's up
Okay.
to you to make it come to life.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay,
entire
that's great.
entire visualization part of it, that's probably
Uh-huh.
the Hollywoodization of how it will happen in reality. But again, I don't see it like that difficult now that technology has evolved to where it is today.
Okay, got it. So, sir, you know, let's say in any field for that matter, right? Nowadays, right? So creativity is a very, I would say a game changer kind of a thing, right? So let's say, is there any filmmaker or a character or even a movie in general, where you found it, with creativity is something which you deeply admire? So,
Dude, there are so many, so many. I mean, I think Chris Nolan is an easy one because
oh,
the kind of thinking he makes you do in any movie is
yes,
mind-blowing.
yes, yes,
Matrix, for example, I mean, the first time I saw it, honest, it went bouncer. I mean, the entire, uh, I guess the basis of that movie was like, what's going on here? But it left me with such a curiosity that I watched it multiple times. Uh, Similarly, I love anything Tarantino. The guy makes you dig down into rabbit holes because the
okay,
kind of research he does for every character, every song that plays in that movie is mind-blowing.
okay,
So creativity from that sense, from I guess the Western filmmakers is something of that sort. From an Indian filmmaking perspective, I kind of love most of the work of Raju Hirani, and like whether it's Three Idiots, whether it's uh, PK or Munna Bhai. I mean, presenting those kind of stories which have kind of a serious message, but still make you have fun. I mean, that requires tremendous amounts of creativity. So
yes,
but I'm the kind of person who'll watch anything and everything. I mean, for that matter, I love this LCU, the Lokesh Cinematic Universe, which is the movies like Vikram and Kaithi and all
yes,
that.
yes, sir.
I've watched a lot of Telugu movies when I was an engineering student. I don't understand that language, but my roommates were Telugu and they introduced me to that cinema. So I kept watching that. So just how they presented stories, in different ways. So there are many directors. So now, of course, Rajamouli, and everyone's a fan of him.
Mhm.
Just just imagine yourself in his head. I mean, how is he thinking of all these characters? And a movie like Bahubali, I believe, lived in his head for like close to 20 years.
Yes,
He
sir.
was waiting for the tech to get ready before he could shoot it.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Oh, that I wasn't aware of actually about Rajamouli, but yeah, that's an information for me.
Yeah. I mean, just the creativity which is required, and and it's not just the script of the movie. It's how you make the characters convey that message and at the same time resonate with you as an audience. Very difficult challenge.
I think you spoke on metrics. I think I watched that movie thrice to understand what was the movie all about. When
Yeah,
once I got it, I was like, oh, this is like. I think it was way ahead of its time when it was released. That's what I feel,
yeah.
right?
I
And even
think
sometimes, sorry, sir, go ahead, please, sir.
I mean even now the action which is depicted in that movie, we
Yes,
are
sir.
probably what 25 years from when it was released, I think,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, 1990.
till date the action sequences like the bullet sequences and
Mm-hmm.
the high-speed cameras they use to film those bullet sequences. Fun fact, I have worked with those cameras. They're called
Oh,
phantom cameras. I have used them for my scientific experiments. I've done
okay.
high-speed imaging with them. But the kind of tech that they used to convey what was going on in that movie, I mean, it blows my mind.
Yeah, yeah, it was really great. And I think you spoke on Inception as well. Oh, that was also. I mean, I'm a Nolan
Yeah,
fan, by the way, so I really love the movies which he made because he gives in so much. I think he pours in all his heart and soul in the movie. I mean, all of his movies. I think except the recent one which he made, I forgot the name.
Tenet.
I think on Tenet on entropy and all. But I think the other movies were really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel. So, so sir, I think if we talk about we're just talking about AI sometime back, right? Right now, so there were movies often which portray AI or robotics, right? They are basically either in an excitement stage or a fear kind of a stage, right? So, is there a movie where you find those, robots or AI were more kind of balanced out, and one that made you reflect, how the future technology would be on those lines?
I think all of them make you question, right? That what are we going to do as a society
Hmm.
when our world is going to be more and more influenced, or rather more integrated with AI and robotics.
Yes.
Whether it's a movie, I think you mentioned Iron Man, where it's a character like Jarvis,
Yes.
who ultimately has a body,
Yes.
compared to
Yes,
the
sir.
AI engines we have access to.
Yes.
Jarvis
Yes,
has a
sir.
physical body that you can interact with.
Yes, sir.
It could be something like that. There are the Will Smith movies, like there was one called, I think it was called I
I
Robot,
robot.
which again made
Yes,
you
I robot. Yeah.
which made you question, right? Okay, hey, what's going on? Meaning it starts off from a good sense, but then these movies always tend to show like the machine taking over the world. I think
Terminator. I get scared when I.
Terminator also, even iRobot had something like that, right? Where I think there was like these group of robots
Yes.
were made to function in such a manner such that they kind of had a mind of their own.
Yes, sir.
Uh, but the one it's not just uh, not so much dystopian, but I kind of like the premise of this movie, Ready Player One. It's not so much about robotics, but more of how AI, along with virtual reality, will be maybe more integrated into our lives. I think
Mm.
as a society, the kind of world that they are showing, and even the kind of time we are spending on social media, and how much we want, this dopamine hits to be there. I think Ready Player One kind of gives me a glimpse of, okay, I can see the world heading in that direction.
Okay.
Uh, and they also show, I mean, societal impacts are also there in that movie, right? Because if you look at the number of people that are rich are few, and where the main character is living, that's sort of uh, like some of the slum areas, in that future what they're showing, right? Where people are not living in fancy homes, but until they put on this VR headset, they can be whoever they want to be. And so
Yeah, it's
people
more
are
like
always
metaverse kind
spending
of a
that
thing,
time in
right,
there.
sir? Yeah.
They're spending more and more time in that. I
Yes,
think
sir.
Inception also gave one glimpse of that. Remember, there's
Yes,
this
sir.
guy, this character was brought into, uh, I guess the the medical guy, right,
Hmm.
who's showing this room full of people that were lying on like hospital beds,
Yes, sir.
who just wanted to spend all their time in their dreamverse.
Hmm.
So when I look at Ready Player One, I I like to take the positives from that, which is that hey, I think we could be spending a lot more time into this thing. There will be uh, one area where we may have access to someone's intelligence, maybe our own intelligence in the past, in the future, and we can draw references to it. There was also a Dev Patel movie. It was set in South Africa, but the robot's name is called Chappie.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank on that. That also shows you AI and our own intelligence can be mapped in such a way that you can make it a friend, you can make it an assistant, or worse, if you're not, I guess, responsible with the kind of intelligence it has access to,
Mhm.
things can take a bit of an uglier turn. So how do we balance
Yes.
it out? So this movie is set in South Africa where an intelligence is uploaded and this robot has access to it. So it's kind of
Okay.
like I'm creating a backup of my intelligence right now before I do something else. So in case something happens to me and so on, like your family has access to all your intelligence. And
Oh,
that to me as a premise was like, this is very interesting.
yeah, that actually is interesting, sir. So as you're mentioning, actually, I saw the name also, Chappie. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to watch it because I never heard of it. But yeah, thanks for actually taking a name out. It's really
Sure.
helpful. In terms of movies in general, have you come across any movie which kind of inspires in the way how they have you know presented or communicated complex concepts in general? Any movie?
Interstellar remains like a favorite. I
Uh,
mean, it's still there's some parts of it which are a bit complex, Matrix as an example. I mean, once you get it, like the rewatches become more and more fun because you've understood it. But something which is too complex, I think there's always this dichotomy, right? If it's complex, it's then you don't want to get it on the first time.
mm,
Like, I mean, imagine if you had understood Matrix on the very first attempt. Yeah, okay, then you probably won't watch it again. But you
yes,
gave it the second, the third try, and all that because it was complex. You didn't fully solve everything it was trying to, show to you. But then once you got it, the rewatches became more and more interesting.
yes,
So I
yes, sir.
kind of always gravitate in terms of complexity. I like Inception also, but I somehow gravitate more towards Interstellar, maybe because of its music also. The music in Interstellar is mind blowing.
Yes, sir.
And
Hands down.
similarly, Matrix.
Yes, sir.
Matrix music is also, I mean, a bit too aggressive. A lot of good metal and heavy rock in the movie Matrix,
Yes,
but it just is fun to watch.
yes, sir. I think Interstellar play there is this particular scene at the end where he communicates with his daughter with some strings of books, right?
Oh,
And which is
yeah,
that was like one amazing scene, and that is actually very. I would say I'm very curious about how that all things came into place, and that actually is a little bit of complex for me as well.
I mean, to think of that and to put it on screen, that to me just showcases the kind of filmmaker Chris Nolan is. I mean, you have to just give it to him for just putting it on the screen the way he does, and time and again he does that.
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah, even the
just a
intro of the movie Tenet. I mean, if you look at how Tenet begins,
yes,
it's really wild.
yes, sir.
It's like you're like, what's going on here? And
Yeah.
and just how he leads you to the entire premise of the movie Tenet. Even how he names it, because Tenet is a palindrome,
Yes,
right to left, left to right, which
it's the
is
same.
what
Yes,
the movie makes constantly think of. So just the complexity he consistently targets.
yes, sir.
Hats off to him.
Yeah. I'm actually awaiting such a complex movie from him again. maybe in the future
Yeah.
if he's making something. I'm not sure. But yeah. So I just want to know, like, are you a tea lover or a coffee lover?
Coffee.
Cool.
I
So
like
now
chai
let's say,
also, but coffee.
okay, great, sir. So, as a coffee lover, I imagine that, you would want to enjoy the winding down with a great movie, right? So what's your go-to movie when you want to relax or, recharge after a day? After a very busy day, actually.
I'm very weird in that sense,
Okay.
because my the movie genre which I love can span all the way from slapstick comedy
Okay.
to maybe a bit more of witty comedy, like what's shown in Andaz Apna Apna, uh, to sometimes even violent movies. Like I'm a big Tarantino fan, so if my kids are not around and all that, I love to watch Kill Bill, especially Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
They're good
okay.
movies. But Kill Bill 1 and 2, I mean, I can keep watching them again and again. Great soundtrack in both of them. Uh, uh, Similarly, Vikram these days. There are days where I'll go on this endless scroll. Like, what do I watch? And
Okay.
after like 10 minutes, I'm like, let's just watch Vikram, and
Okay.
and I'll keep watching that. So the diversity of stuff which I like is too varied. Some days I'll tune into like a Suraj Barjatia movie also because you know uh, again it's hard to explain why, but I like to watch various things. Sports movies are a good favorite too. Moneyball is one I can tune into time and again, and I don't have to watch the full movie. I just have to watch a few scenes, and I'm like, okay, hey, this is interesting, and then go on to the next thing.
Great, sir. Um, so
What do you
basically,
like? Which movies do you watch?
I think it's more like you as well, sir. For me also, I see through variety of movies, and I actually like to watch movies which are more, I would say, documentary in nature, but more like from real life events. So let's say if I talk about movies like that, so there would be movies like The Founder, which I loved. Then The
Yeah,
Social Network, this is one of some of the movies which I loved a lot, right? Watching, and then let's say in terms of I watched Wolf of Wall Street, but then there is this one
yeah.
particular movie which I cannot remember not right now, but it was on the 2008 crisis. There were actually a lot of movies during the financial crisis.
Margin Call.
Margin Call is one such movie which I
Yeah,
love, but there
yeah.
is one movie which I can recall, and there are all the great movies, great actors over there.
The Big Short.
The Big Short, yes, correct, sir, The Big Short. So I
That's a good movie
remember,
to watch.
yes, sir. So, and in one of those, there is this particular moment when the I forgot his person's name. He is actually, on the staircase, and he's thinking that I'm making money out of it, right, from the collapse of the housing economy in the US. So he was in a dilemma that whether I'm doing is right or wrong. That moment was a very, I would say, painful as well as painful and happy moment also in those lines. So yeah, I really like
Yeah,
that
Brad
movie.
Pitt's character reminds those two guys that, hey, you got rich, but this is
Yes,
based on a lot of people
yes,
losing their jobs, losing their savings,
yes, yes,
potential
yes,
savings, right? Because they've invested in the stock market, and if it's going to crash and you made
yes,
money off it,
yes,
think about this larger societal implication.
yes. So basically, he was in an ethical dilemma over there, right? So
Yeah,
I generally watch those kind of movies because they are entertaining in general as well, and I get to learn about certain stuff from there. Either maybe psychological stuff from there, or maybe some financial terms over there, or how they did some startups, like let's say like the social
yeah.
network, right? All the stuff.
Also, I
Yeah.
have to
So,
mention this one movie which I can watch n number of times is Lakshya. I've seen it,
oh,
I don't know how many
yes,
times, but
yes.
again, if there is any time, it's a catch-all movie for me.
Yes.
If this, if that, अगर कुछ नहीं होता है, then चलो, let's watch Lakshya.
I mean, I think that's a
And Lakshya
great
is such an
movie.
amazing movie. Yeah,
Yes, that's a very great movie. I mean, I think the actors and Farhan Akhtar in general, so I think they did a great job with the movie.
It should have
I
received much more commercial success, but
yes,
no, it's
yeah. I
but
think
I'll
it
give it
often
another watch right
happens.
now.
So I think so it often happens. I think it also happened with Swades also. If you remember, I think in box office it was
Yeah.
not that a hit, right? But then it became kind of a cult after it was released in OTT and all. People loved that movie,
So
Swades.
I that movie has the one which has resonated with me it because I saw it when I was living in the US and I had the same questions that Mohan Bhargav, the character, was asking all
Yes.
the time. And to me also in making my life decisions also, Swades has been a major influencer.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, those kind of movies, they are actually good gem movies, I think, but maybe I'm not sure, but I shouldn't tell it, but maybe when it is on the box office, people may not know it. Maybe after the box office, they might have loved it. So maybe they might have seen something like that. There's so many movies like that in general.
True,
Uh,
true, Dipankar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, sir, thanks a lot again for giving us time on a weekend specifically, and then it was really nice catching up with you and getting insights from your favorites. I see that you have across all the genres, right? So that's really great. So
yeah.
it was a very fun
No,
and insightful
thanks.
conversation. Yes, sir. Thank you for joining
Likewise,
us.
Dipankar. Thank you for having me, and love what you're doing all at RecoBee. So best wishes to all of you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. For
Sure.
all those listeners out there, whoever are there, with our podcast, so we'll be putting Dr. Hemang's LinkedIn ID on our video description. You can click on it. You can connect with him, ask him any question whatsoever you have, and yeah, I know I have to tell this, but yeah. So we will be hosting more such kind of insightful conversations with industry leaders. If you want to hear more such insight, do follow us, do subscribe to us, and comment us. We want to know what your thoughts are. Thanks a lot again, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Dipankar.
Yeah, bye bye, sir.
Thanks all. Bye.